a very good morning. It's Friday here in Bedford, United Kingdom, and it is the 14th World Challenge brought to you by Twinwoods Adventure with me, Regan Tetlow, and Rai Ahmed. Very good morning, Rai.
Morning, Regan.
The excitement is palpable. Over 300 competitors from 14 countries prepare to battle it out for this, well, probably the longest standing ever tunnel competition.
I believe so. I've been involved right from the beginning as well, so it's great to be here. So this is the first of the AA teams.
Right.
Next in, we have the team from Hungary, Team KO. Hope that means knockout. Don't know.
Yeah, it might be.
Let's see. We'll ask them next time. Brian, if you get the chance, ask Team KO what KO stands for. And this round, again, is a little bit different. So I shall just let you know what they are flying.
Very positive, aggressive shake. They're in there. Here comes the first block.
It looks like block 19. Yes, it's block 19, B2. So this is block 2 now. So this is interesting. The AA draw, there are no random rounds in the AA draw, and that's unfortunate for the teams. Normally they do see some random rounds in it, so it's very much of a working dive, working draw for these guys, especially round 1. And I think for the AA flyers, this is probably not a bad thing to have a nice working dive, 2 blocks and a random to start their day. They can, nobody can actually outscore each other too much here, so it's a pretty good way to start. So we can see here from Team KO that they're struggling a little bit with the closes of the blocks. And here we go. And they're out the door. A little bit reachy and grabby from them, but they'll be pleased with that.
That's going to be tricky for whoever's on that button doing that indicative scoring, isn't it?
I think it might be 40 plus for this round at this rate from the top teams.
Yeah, it is Brian. Brian's going to be down there, our roving reporter. So let's see how he does on the old finger pushing when we get to these fast teams. Here we go, Koloncok, and 35 seconds.
Team Koloncok.
Counted down, yeah.
Yeah, here we go. So, yes, so pretty standard here. This is the block 5, the close of the block 5 to the P, H to the Q, back to block 5, top of the block 5, close of the block 5. So, it's actually quite a small random sequence as well. The queue is a little bit, everybody's out facing per se, but this is actually pretty good because block 5 is actually quite a small block as well. I mean, it keeps everybody looking inwards or round or circular per se. So indicative score for Koloncok is 23.
23 for Koloncok.
We go. Well, I'm not sure where we're going to go with that name, but Koloncok sounds about right.
Yeah, out of the door, up on the 3rd floor up there with the flying chamber. We're just down below there on the 2nd floor with our studio here with me and Rai.
And next in we have the team from Hungary, Team Aladeen.
Yes.
Also been around for a while now. Really nice bunch of people. Always very friendly. Wants to tell us a little bit about what's going on with their flying, because I don't believe they have a wind tunnel. I don't believe they've got one in Hungary, so I have to do a little bit of travelling for it. Here we go. Nice close of block 5. Big guys, making it look nice and small and tidy, and they are looking really good. They'll be pleased with this. Looking very tidy. Nice to see. Done some training since the last time I've seen them, and this is definitely the highest scoring round we've seen so far. And you can see that from the indicative scoring of 31.
31, that's a high so far, Rai?
That is right, yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Aladeen, Eros, Jazz Republic, Flyspot, Sky 404, Tenaline, Russian Thunder, NFTO. Some big names coming up, Rai, now.
So now we've got round 2 for the AA.
Yes.
So this is a little bit more complex. Team KO doing 22K. Oh dear, a little bit of a headlock there. So it's a K, and if we go to the 22, sorry, I missed out the 13. So this is actually round 2, and it's 22K13. So block 13 is new to the dive pool. Yes. Have only been introduced for a few months now, and let's see how the teams get on with it. It'd be nice to see it being flown, because I think we didn't see, we may have seen block 13 in the wing games, but
we did.
It's nice to see how the top teams get on with this as well, and all the teams learning. Because you know what, you take example, when new blocks come in, you watch the likes of the Airspeeds, the Hayabusas, the top national teams, how they fly it, what their technique is, and you watch how that evolves.
Okay, right. Hands are clapping. Koloncok.
Koloncok.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Koloncok.
Maybe it is. If you know the correct pronunciation, is it Koloncok or is it Koloncok? Let us know.
They had pretty good round 1. See how they get on their round 2. Oh, just on and off. You can see as the inside centre's just reaching out for that grip, he's already moved quite a way backwards, which makes the close of the block 19 less efficient. You really want to keep these things nice and, I don't know how nice and tight. How many times our coaches have told us in the past, you know, lock things down at the top or the bottom of the block, make sure you save the energy for where you need it, and they're just stepping out a little bit too far, I think, on the 19s. And a bit reachy for that 16. It's all about the momentum on the closes of the blocks, especially on a dive like this, to get the kind of rhythm that we see from rhythm or from airspeed or from obviously from Hayabusa. You need to drill it, make sure that if you're carrying the energy through, you're carrying the energy through in the right way, and we see it from the high rollers as well.
So close to the World Championships, 2 weeks in between it.
It's good. I mean, and the good thing about it is the 16-foot tunnel, and so it's not too far off from the 17-foot of Wimby. And I think it gives people a good chance to go from one to the other. And I think timing, whether it's lucky or not, is actually a good thing. I think
it might be the way forward. The year afterwards, it's going to be in Belgium airspace, which they're looking at April as well.
Exactly. And there's a lot of talk at the IPC about generally, like, you know, size of tunnels and having to offer 8-way and what we can do. And people saying, well, you know, people bid for what they bid for at the end of the day. And
that's right.
We kind of need these couple of the bigger tunnels like this, like here at Twinwoods or Wimby with the 17-footers that we can fly the 8-way to a certain extent, which is kind of losing its colour a little bit on the world stage indoor, solely because we don't have the tunnels to facilitate it.
Yes, but again, it takes the tunnels to actually bid, doesn't it?
That's right, yeah.
That's what we need, and it's not cheap to put one of these things on.
No. Aladeen had a good round there, 23 indicative scoring. They'll be pleased with that.
Forward now, it's British summertime, it's April, the weather's getting warmer, you do this World Challenge and it's almost getting yourself ready for the skydiving. It's a great time, isn't it?
I went to go and check if my rig was in date. It hasn't been in date since January, so
really?
I better get moving.
What jumps have you got coming up?
I've got a couple of free fly events, some angle camps and stuff out with the FSU and then the Algarve, and then with the Fly for Life guys again in the Algarve. So I'm quite excited about getting some flying on.
A few people watching us right now out in the Algarve. Neil Fitzpatrick is there, he's watching the action, suggests he's not jumping, he's watching this instead.
So round 3 for the AA is 20.011. So again, a working dive, block 11. You know, it is what it is. It's never been my favourite block, but block 20. Some confusion here. There we go. The block 11. Close the block 11
the
and
photon
into the block
we
20.
were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's right. So what have they got on their backs? The two centres. Is that a skull?
Are they stormtroopers or is it a skull?
I don't know. We need to go find out. Brian, if you're around, walking, listening.
It could be an eagle.
Could be an eagle.
Skulls.
Oh wow, that's
skulls.
Amazing.
Blue skies, Black Death. Back to the 80s.
Wow, that's good. So next in the tunnel we have the French team. The French team, they are called the Panots. I'm just trying to remember. Oh no! Oh, sorry.
It's
Koloncok. Apologies for those at home. I'm getting confused with my helmet colours.
Yeah, with the intruder suits. That's how we can recognise these guys.
You can tell that's an intruder suit.
You can from when they're in the antechamber.
Ah, I see. Very clever.
Suits from Hungary. Very nice indeed. I have one myself.
Do you?
Yeah.
Very good.
So the breakdown of the teams in the AAA category array, we have...
How many teams?
Yes.
So we have 35 teams in the AAA category. Yeah. We have 11 teams in the AA, 7 teams in the single A, and 3 in the rookies. And Kurt pointed this out this morning, that I think it's amazing that we have 35 teams in the AAA, and we had 35 teams in the AAA last year.
ACM Wimby and Gavorish Wimby and a 37 from Telenine. But Odin down on 35 actually, and that's the same score we had from NFTO as well. Just in front of them, Chimera and Flyspot Sky 4-4 with 36s.
I think there might have been a few busts in there and stuff. It'd be interesting to see, because I thought Odin had a pretty good round one. So
it looked fast and sharp, didn't
yeah.
it? Bam, bam, bam.
Nice to see the scores later on and have a good look. So here we go. Aladeen in the tunnel now, and your indicative scoring is there on the right. And it goes to show, for those watching at home, the indicative scoring is just indicative. Sometimes, you know, when you are scoring, it can be very difficult to, you can lose your eye, you know, you might not catch a few things, but it's very hard to see the busts.
Absolutely. And it's a technique itself, just watch and press that button.
Exactly, very difficult indeed. So let's see.
Aladeen with round one, they brought us a 28, Ray.
Wow, that's very good. And here, I thought they had a very strong round one. 19 from round 3.
28 on round 1. Jazz Republic just in front of them on 29. And Eros from the UK just below them on 26. Sorry, 27, correction, 27.
Yeah.
Right, AA category.
So we are now moving into the AA, and round 4 for the AA is 4CA. So here we go with the block 4. There you go. You see the 3 block and then the point fly just flying underneath it to the C and to the A. They're doing a good job of it so far, Team KO.
Yeah, it's game on for the silver and bronze at the moment. The top place, Ketchup ADV, are quite high in front after 2 rounds, 8 points clear. But second and third, well, there's only 1 point in that right now between Papaya 2 and the Oman Wolf team. But KO currently sitting middle of the pack, 5th place, 16 on round 1, 11 on round 2, 27 points, Ray. In fact, there's 3 teams on 27. So
3 teams?
Yeah, there's them, there's KO, there's Aussie Aviators, and there's the Twinwoods Adventures FFS, so a little fight on there.
Fight on their hands, which is good to see. Nice work from Team KO. Need to find out what that stands for.
Do you think it's not knockout? Well, it's Hungarian, so it
It's
could
Hungarian, and they've got those 2 skulls on the back.
Yes.
And
Koloncok
exactly.
now, team 104.
Koloncok?
Yeah, I got 2 scores for them. I got a 21 on round 1 and a 16 on round 2, tying off with Telenine on 37 points. So, oh no, sorry, Telenine haven't got a score yet. 37 after the 2 rounds from Hungary for this team, Koloncok.
We see our indicative scoring is back up and running. Thank you very much, whoever is pressing those buttons. It's good for everybody who's watching the live stream to see how they're going on. Thank you, Brian. We'll try not to put you off, Brian. Here we go, 15 into 6 seconds to go. Nice close of the 22 into the random sequence A, 22, close the 22, and then that should be a D, B, A. So there's a rhythm to this skydive as well. You kind of, when you go through it and you see it in the order is B, A, 22, D, you kind of then get into the rhythm, end of the 22, DBA, top of the block, end of the block, DBA. So there's a nice little rhythm you can build there. Call it a random sprint.
Again, in those Intruder Hungarian suits.
Intruder. I like Team Aladeen. I think that it's good to see that their confidence is growing a little bit. It's not the best start of the 22.
Yeah.
You can see here, just as you go to build it, you really want to make sure your tail fly is ready. So your point flyer should be looking back to your tail flyer to see that they're ready to turn that piece. It just seems to be moving a tiny bit. And I think the outside center just needs to step forward a little bit more to give the cat the space to turn. And just eking it around the tunnel a little bit more. These are little things that, you know, they'll pick up, and you know, that whole line of axis and where you need to put things. And I mean, having flown the outside center slot for a number of years, you always think you're putting yourself in the right place, but you often feel that you're very blind.
Yeah.
And people are just telling you, oh, can you just turn like 5 degrees here and do this here? And I'm like, okay, I can do that for you. It's a bit tricky though. Team Aladeen, not the best round we've seen from them. I'm a little bit disappointed by that. Jumping Jesters are doing their job, and next in the tunnel we should have Team KO from Hungary, and we're now moving into the AA dive pool.
Yeah, we are. Let's
so
have a
we'll
look.
just update you on the AA dive pool for round 5. This is 15 p.m. So that's a close of the 15 into the P and into the M. So this will be relatively quick. I mean, P and M are randoms. It's just the 15 as long as we have tunnel walls, so these guys should be able to keep it together.
They had a 16 on round 1, 11 on round 2, 14 on round 3. And the round 3 scores which are coming in now, all about the 12, 13, 14 mark. 13 for the Aussie Aviators. Twinwoods Adventure 12, Valkyrie 13, Zircon 4, 14. So them are the scores we've got coming through on this category on the 3rd round, Ray. Well, all the first 2 rounds are scored.
That's great. Come on, judges. I hear a couple of the judging panels weren't working properly. They had some few glitches on the judging panels, so now all judging panels are back up and running, so we're going to get through this. I mean, every team has a slightly different way of doing things, you know, and different techniques come out of it. And depending upon the shape, size of your front piece versus your back piece, or compared to each other, each piece is going to find their own way to make it fly. So I don't think it's a case that, you know, you can have the same thing for everybody. So here we go now with block 14. There's a close of the block 14, individual turns, very nice, cog it back together. Here you can see that the outside centre is getting away from the point flyer a little bit, and or the point flyer is getting away from the outside centre.
On the 8.
On the 8.
Here it is, let's watch it now. Oh, yeah.
And that back piece is actually flying quite intact, and it's quite nice to see, and I just think it's all about the timing. And, you know, if we got the level shots as well, we might be able to see some of the level shots. You can see how they are actually flying that piece.
Let's have a look if we can switch down to that on-level shot. Here we go. Here it comes, Ray. This next block 8. Here it comes.
Yeah, you can see that both the outside and the point flyer are coming down together.
Yeah, that's right.
And there was a team in the previous category that actually had that really nailed quite well, where the point flyer just coming down a little bit.
Just a little bit, wasn't it?
That's right.
The overnight story is going to be very, very interesting, ladies and gentlemen.
I think it's going to be great.
Be nice to get a good update on that of where we stand before we switch off for the day. But into the door now, into the Airstream. Aladeen, 28 points round 1, 21 points round 2, itching forward onto 49. Hungary are in. Nice 14s. What's that front piece like here? Oh, it's good. It's, I don't know, it looks a bit forward. Look, that back piece had come forward a bit there, right? Let's have a look. On the 8, this next 8, looks like just kind of dived on top of it a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's a few things going on, probably a bit of timing issues, and Aladeen started very, very strong, and I just think the front piece is working pretty well. I think it's a back piece that are just a bit...
quite different sizes, aren't they?
Yeah, very much so. I'm just trying to have a better look.
Big unit, this back piece.
Yeah. It's a lot of it. There's not really stopping. The back piece is just continuing through.
Interesting, judgeable one. That. I mean, they could see that you could see there was contact, but
non-stationary grip.
Non-stationary grip, isn't it?
Let's see what the judges come back with on that one from Aladeen.
Interesting drama develops. Join us next week to find out what happens on round 5.
And we're on to AA now. So first in, Team KO. Team KO from Hungary.
Yes, in the AA category. Let's switch over and see what's going on there with those guys.
So they do have skulls on the back of their jumpsuits. It's very nice. We know what's on there. But it would be nice to know why they've got them on the back of their jumpsuits, though.
Yes, it would. We'll try and find that out for you. Here we go, Team KO. Now, we don't have a full block of 4 rounds scored, unfortunately, in the AA category. But they've got 4 rounds scored. They've got a 16, an 11, a 14, and a 15, giving them a total of 56 points.
Okay, here we go, Team KO. Looking good, this nice side view. You can see the levels on the 7s, on the side buddies.
And out of time, and out they go. Big round of applause for them. Now, next team, Pete, we're going into this team from Hungary. I've got on the sheet KO, and we had a lot of different variations of that name last night. We tried KO, we tried knockout, we tried KO. Apparently it's cool.
Cool. Thank you very much. So we're moving into the AA category, is that
We are
correct?
indeed, Team KO. Let's have a look where they are overnight, down in 5th on 97p.
Yes, they
Actually
are
tied with
tied
Aussie Aviators.
Yep,
Yeah.
tied with Aussie Aviators. So it's always fun at this competition, if you're not running for a medal position, is looking for the team that's either just above, just below you, to get a bit of an idea. Okay, so round 7, we're looking at 14LH. 14 is going to separate people for sure. You need to have the skill in four-way, which is being able to turn in place well. And so we'll see maybe some separation through some of the teams on this particular round. After a bit of a shaky start, these guys seem to be doing quite well with this round, actually. Looked like they even had some memory coming through the door, but they've blown their cobwebs out, the coffee's kicked in, and they're moving through this round quite nicely, actually.
Just going back to the jumping jesters, Pete, they're all skydivers from Simpson.
Oh, nice. One of my home places for many years. Good. Very nice. Okay, so Team KO, as we've been taught how to pronounce. KO.
I think. The longest running competition in the world, Pete, isn't it?
It is, yes. So Paul Mayer put this on the map 14 years ago. Team Koloncok, whatever issue has been resolved, and they're just about to enter into 15, 21 and 18.
Here we go.
Let's see what kind of engineering. Should be pretty straightforward as far as block techniques. 21, see what the 18, see which version they have. There we go. So there's the standard version of block 18, which you're going to see for pretty much 99% of the teams here today. All right, doing a pretty nice job so far. That 18 build can bite you a little bit after the 21, as we've mentioned. Nice on black suits, but the white grip's doing a pretty good job of showing the grips. Okay, we do now have a list of the judges. We're going to give you through the day. We're going to introduce you to the judges. And Team Koloncok, long wait for them, but they managed to keep their calm together. Bit of humor amongst the team. It always helps a little bit, get the communication going. So they're out, and
going back to Hungary, and Aladeen, 21st place overnight on 119, finishing off 1 point above Falco.
Yeah, just as Alacran left, you could hear the team whooping as they left. They're a high-energy team. They show their emotions on their sleeve. Good to see that. So Aladeen, and very tight battle. They're in that group that are battling around the 20s position on the board right now. Let's see how they form up against. We've currently got Alacran leading the field with a 19 for this round. Very respectable score. They're going to set the standard for the next few teams that we see in the tunnel. Okay, Team Aladeen actually doing a really nice job up until that 18 build. I shouldn't have said a word, should I? Okay, doing a good job up until that 18 build. Let's see if they can get the train back on the tracks, get the communication down. There we go. Nice build into the 21. Yeah, not the best of round for these guys. Okay, so when you're looking at this, and not as a four-way jumper, but if you're looking at this competition as a free flyer or someone who's not even into skydiving, when you see them start to reach their hands out, you know, there's a bit of panic setting in there.
Right.
That means that they're out of position, and they kind of lost the plot a little bit. So the good teams, you'll see the body positions are tight, their center points are tied to each other.
We're moving into the AA category from Hungary, Team KO. In the door. It's a substantial team, Pete.
Yes. They're obviously going to have a different style to, say, watching a kids team or the team from Qatar. We saw that between the Russians and the Qatar team. And they have, got a nice job, real solid job. So looking at AA, we have
J to begin with, I would say.
J6D. There we go. So
another boogie block.
Definitely a boogie block. It's a good one to be teaching teams about the art of vertical transitions.
Right.
Yeah. And so if you're a non-skydiver or a free flyer watching this, doesn't have much idea of four-way, you see some of the blocks we spin on level, some of them we create a vertical in order to shorten it down. That's what you're seeing right now. There is a bit of a rule that's interesting with blocks like block 6. The center points of the two groups cannot cross each other.
Yes.
So right now there's the centers crossing and then the outsides crossing. That's fine, but you can't have the piece just slide from one O to the other, which would create less of a rotation, and that would be a bust. That would be a center point infringement.
The system, Koloncok, Hungary, next in. Let's have a look at what they
let's
got.
see where
15 on the last round.
Okay. Pretty solid score for them on the previous round. I seem to remember that their indicative scoring was higher, so does that mean they had a bust? Never mind. No, okay.
We can see, I think, can't we? I think we can.
Yeah, we can actually, and you can do this at home, guys. You can go back and you can see, no, all clear.
Yeah, on the in-time scoring, if you want to have a look at what we're seeing, it's intimescoring.com. Go to events, go to the World Challenge, and all the scores are there for you.
All right. So Team Koloncok, yeah.
20, Pete, 20?
20 on the indicative scoring. A little bit harder to see these guys against the tunnel. There we go. Nice bit of level footage. There's that 4 technique that we were talking about, where the point will just get underneath, inside and tail, just to create a little bit of space there. They obviously have to be back up on level, though, for the catch, so they can then blast through the next sequence.
Next up, it's going to be Aladeen from Hungary. They got 13 on the last round.
Aladeen.
Aladeen.
It sounds like a spell, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, seeing Jed in the door, he was doing his usual job in getting the teams into the tunnel, which you've missed out, this being your first year, but I'm sure you heard it yesterday.
Yes.
Some of the competitors love it, some don't like it. I like his energy.
Yes.
Good, solid lad. All right, Team Aladeen, and they are taking completely standard engineering. Team from Hungary. Looking like a team. Team jumpsuits there as well for most of the teams now in the rest of the field, apart from the unicorns maybe. Techniques, yeah, little vertical on the 4 there. Real solid technique actually. From what I've seen so far from these guys, they seem to be pretty confident as a team.
Bringing us a possible 21.
All right, so current leaderboard on predictive.
26 from Falco.
From Falco, the Belgian team. There we go. Last little look at block 4 on level for Team Aladeen before they leave the tunnel for this round. Yep, so this round, as we said, it's one of the, it's a slightly faster round. Not as fast as round 1 was, obviously, from the score from Hayabusa and the rest of the teams. But still faster than the previous round that we saw with 3 blocks.
The Hungarians with Cool. That's not quite as strong as that. Cool, I think it is. I remember thinking yesterday it sounded like a pigeon when I was told exactly how to do it. That's how I remember it in my head. Cool.
So there we go. Round 9.
5th place currently, tied with 6th place Aussie Aviators, both on 133p.
And it's N21E.
Let's go.
So EN to 21, 2 people staying, 3 people staying still, 1 person rotating back into the 21. Guys are closing the block quite nicely. All right. Looks like they got some energy. The team from Hungary, we say, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, looking like they're on fire for this round. Unfortunately, that fire has taken them a little over the line. For you guys watching, you'll notice that they've actually maybe jumped ahead of some of the keys.
Right.
So on a high energy round like this, ideally you score all the points. Right now they're throwing a couple of them away. Yeah. Although back end of the time, they're definitely getting things together a little bit more. So team, cool. Indicative score of 16. Let's see what the judges have to say about that one, though.
All it takes is one member of the team to get a bit angry and start to push more than the others.
It's a team event, mate, isn't it?
I was that guy.
It's a team event. We've all been that guy. I've done it at a world meet, mate, as well.
Have you?
Yes, that's where I learned about that.
Koloncok are going to be next.
All right, so they're flying a little bit out of sequence, aren't they, with order, because obviously the order is set right at the beginning before we have the positions. That's why, guys, you're sometimes seeing teams what seems to be in a strange order. Their previous round, they scored a 19, currently on 133, 2 points ahead of Aero, and 4 points behind the Angels from Spain.
Yeah. And the Winterbonner Angels will be coming up next after these guys.
Okay. In fact, yeah, K-build, bit of a struggle for people so far. Pretty clear technique there. C, N or standard. Oh, key, come on, the tail. Everyone knows the tail doesn't key that unless they can see it's complete. Alrighty. Nice. Communication is back on. So they're going for that high grip that we talked about. Very minimal vert at the start, big deep vert at the second part of the block. Yeah, it's really nice to see these new blocks being flown a couple of different ways, but not much variation, to be honest. The reason for the changes, for those of you who weren't watching at previous competitions, the reason for these changes is the wind tunnel. Even though they wanted to fly at 46%, they didn't realize until after 3 rounds. In fact, one of them came up to me and said, "Can we change our airspeed?" And I'm like, "Yes, you can." Yeah, and they went and asked another coach, like, "Yes, you can go and change it." And there'd been a bit of a miscommunication. They hadn't seen, and it's up to them, you know. They shouldn't have been given rejump because the information is there for everyone to see, and they just didn't notice that.
Now, Aladeen, do apologise about this slight mix-up before the Barrett team have had to pull out. Aladeen now.
All right, so Aladeen, they are Hungarian, is that correct? Aladeen
yes.
From Hungary. They scored a 19 on their previous round. They're only 1 point ahead of Barrett, who have had to pull out of the competition, unfortunately, as we said, for family reasons.
Yeah.
That they were only 1 point behind Aladeen, who had a predicted score of, no worries, yeah, it was kind of, things got a little bit interesting with that. We'll get back to you on those. Looking at block techniques though, looks like some nice deep verts happening. Let's see if we get to see one more. Yeah, super deep vert at the start. Seems to be quite a popular technique there for this new block 13.
So Aladeen bringing us a potential 23, just checking back through.
AA, the round on AA. Let's see if things can change. We've got F, 9 and 8.
Right.
So F and 9, they're fast, you know, things will be happening smoothly. Block 8, it's going to slow things down a little bit. This could be a block that some teams will do well at and some teams might struggle with. 8 in the smaller tunnel is always going to be a struggle. In this size tunnel is just fine. Here we go, block 8, you're seeing it now. There we go.
Good job on that front piece, keeping
really
them
nice.
together.
So this is another one of those random blocks. We saw 7 and 14 and 15. That's block 9, that F, there we go, into the 9, cat and compress, 180 is in place. What you just saw there was a lack of communication.
Yes.
It's quite common for the front on the end of block 9, because they feel like they can't see what's going on behind them. They'll just decide to go. They held in, so same thing looked like it was happening on this time, like a slightly out of sequence build. The back pair's taken a little longer to build and the front pair jumped on the key. So they fixed it, but unfortunately I think it's going to cost them for a bust on that first page.
Well, a potential 19 there for Sounds like a pigeon.
Koloncok from
Hungary.
Yeah. And 151. So them and Aero are exactly on the same score going into round 10.
And Barrack, Barrack, we've lost Barrack.
Yeah, we've lost Barrack. So this is a team that we want to pay close attention to their final score, and also Team Aero, who are super close as well as, unfortunately we did lose Barrack. Never mind. Sorry for those guys. I hope everything works out for Chavi's wife, who's currently in hospital.
Best wishes
to them. All right, bit of lack of communication there on F. Now that's not going to help them in their battle with Team Aero. And also they've gone for a slightly different version of block 20. If you look at the point is now cogging instead of doing that hop.
Right.
And what that means, a little safer, you know, a little safer block. It means a few more degrees of rotation to do, but you can just blast the turn. You can just get it done and then deliver the grips without that risk of potentially landing on your teammates. And it's worked out well, equaling the current high score for this round on AAA with an 18 to the guys from Hungary.
Thank you very much, Koloncok. Yeah, it's good to see Spanish four-way
growing
again. I remember when 6, 7, 8 years ago we were in Ampere Brava. There wasn't really much. There was the Cats, the girls team, wasn't the Gatos?
Exactly, and then they had the national team, which kind of fizzled out as well. And now look at it, we've got 4 teams coming to an international competition. Things change.
Aladeen.
Okay, so this was a little battle going on, wasn't it, with Aladeen. There was a 1 point difference going into round 10 between the Spanish and the Hungarian team, Aladeen and Aladeen. And Aladeen, they just had a 19.
Yes.
And these guys currently scoring 11 points with 14 seconds to go, so it could change. These guys could...
21 is what we want.
Yeah, they could break it. Obviously, they need to be 2 points clear, so they need to be getting, what was it, 22 then? 23? Yes. 20, oof.
Well, Aladeen had a 19, so if they've got a 21, they were 1 point behind.
21, they're drawing.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, again, got to see what the judges say on that one. but that would put them level at the end as well.
Yes.
Yeah.